Ladies, Brownie here. Just wishing you all the best for Sunday's game against Melbourne. It's a historic occasion. You should be very proud to be the first women's AFL team for the Brisbane Lions.
To be able to play now your first official game is super exciting, and one you shouldn't take for granted. You want to be able to look back at this and think, where I really achieved something. So
go out there, do a fantastic job. Most of all, enjoy it. Listen to Stars. He's a great man. And we are all behind you. We cannot wait to see the success of the Brisbane Lions women's AFL team. Go to the Lions!
Coming into the first game against Melbourne, a lot of apprehension obviously as to how this team's going to be able to compete. Are we going to be good enough? Are we going to get blown off the park, or what's going to happen? We've had to travel for our first game. The weather coming in wasn't looking good.
What had happened between the Friday night, this amazing thing of watching Carlton and Collingwood, was that when the girls were reading the papers or listening to any kind of media, was that everyone was expecting us to come to Melbourne and get belted, that we were going to finish last, that we were no good. And we just couldn't kind of understand where those opinions were coming from, because no one had been at our trainings watching us, or reporters making those assumptions had never come and seen what our girls were capable of.
We actually looked on Sportsbet, and we were rated I think just above GWS as to get the wooden spoon. So I think that put us a bit of fuel in the stomach, and we weren't rated at all. We weren't talked about. We were never on anyone's predictions to make anything higher than fourth.
The girls were then sort of like, well, yeah, we were nervous and excited, but now we're kind of angry. We're kind of a bit pissed off that people think we're rubbish, and we're coming out with a point to prove.
Today's a big day. I'm feeling really, really good. To say that I played my first official AFL game wearing the Lions jersey is something no one's ever going to be able to take from me. So.
He's already waving his flag. I'm really nervous just seeing all these people. I can't breathe.
Win or lose today, I'm really excited just to be able to be on the park and to be able to say I'm playing football at the highest level. So yeah, round one, Casey Fields. Bring it on, Melbourne.
Hello and welcome to Casey Fields in Cranbourne. So the Demons and the Lions ready for a showdown. The captains are Daisy Pearce and Emma Zielke.
Okay guys, so from this point onwards we need you to really lock in and start to focus. A lot of peripheral stuff, a lot of noise outside, but we really need you just to lock in. It's us now.
I expected a hard game against Melbourne. They were going to come in prepared and would have had a pre-season similar to ours, which would have been hard, and they have trained for this just like us. So there was no reason to expect it to be easy.
Tackles, we spoke about hammering their key players. So if you're in the midfield group and the opportunity arises, Pearce, Paxman, O'Day, tackle, done.
Pulling on the jumper was pretty surreal. It was definitely a pinch me moment.
The only way I can describe it is when you're a little kid and you put on your superhero costume and you feel like you're invincible and you can do anything.
That feeling of actually wearing a Brisbane Lions jersey and representing a club and your family and friends is a feeling you can't ever describe properly.
It really means a lot to have been the first female to pull on the number 9 for the Brisbane Lions. It's something that no one can take away from any of us. It's a moment that really has gone down in history, and it'll be something that I cherish and remember for the rest of my life.
Then seeing the crowd and actually how many Brisbane Lions supporters were there, they were kind of taken aback by that. I think they came out in droves, and it was just amazing to see how many flags there were and how many families had travelled from Queensland. And then I think that mood really changed quickly from nervous excitement to serious, like, you know what, we can do this.
Whether it was at home or away, we were ready for first bounce, and you know, everyone just looked at each other, and we knew it was on, and we couldn't control ourselves. I think we just went out there and absolutely smashed it.
And for the first time, Sunday afternoon footy is going. Been a bit of a frantic, fumbly start. Rain's tumbling down again, and challenging conditions, challenging physically. Players on the bench sucking in the oxygen. Oh, going in hard.
Wow.
And she has collected Jamie Stanton heavily.
I think the two elements that can completely destroy a game of footy are howling wind and flooding rain, and we had both.
Lightning strikes around as well, and some cracks of thunder.
Wow. To come off the ground because of a lightning storm and then go back out and reset your minds and get yourself ready for the task was really our first indication that our group was mentally strong.
Technically, the coach says the best kick in the teams, and she delivers. First goal of the game. It was a long time coming. Beating it well was Pearce, spinning. Oh, she's caught. That's holding the ball. So a huge tackle there from Brie Conan. Bouncing ball off Frederick Traub, the marquee. She spins, she shoots, she scores. Can she extend the Lions lead and put them out by 9? It's through.
I was actually sitting on the bench late last quarter, and all of a sudden you hear a Lions chant. We're at Melbourne's home ground, and we've just hit the front, and there's a Lions chant going around. And they were there still in the torrential rain. That meant everything to us, and to hear them chanting for us was an incredible feeling.
Is that a 50? A 50's been paid.
Second.
A chance here for Kate McCarthy, former ex-Aussie touch player. Should be in Sydney playing for the Sydney Sevens. Instead, maybe the knee buckler. For the Brisbane Lions, they arrived here yesterday. No one gave them a chance. Seconds ticking down to the final siren. And that is the definition of winning ugly. The Brisbane Lions produced the first upset in the AFL women's competition.
Until the siren went, I don't think anyone on the field thought that we'd had it in the bag. We were only ever up by, I think, like 10 or 12 points, and in a game of football that can change in 30, 40 seconds. So once the siren went, it was crazy. I think we celebrated like we just won the grand final.
The players came off the ground with a little bit of belief after that game too, to think that, okay, we weren't really sure coming into this game, but now we think we're on the right path, and you know, we can really make something of this competition.
Yeah, we ticked a lot of boxes that day, and as a group we knew from there onwards that we could handle any sort of pressure, any weather. Probably one of the loudest times we've ever sung that song. Most of the girls knew all the words, so it was yeah, it was just amazing. All the crowd was right next to us, all the Lions fans in the torrential rain. Yeah, it was an incredible feeling singing that song loud and proud.
Fremantle playing in front of their home fans for the first time, but up against the all-conquering Brisbane Lions.
Having to fly to Melbourne and then doing the biggest trip in AFL to Perth was going to be a huge ask for us, but it actually worked in our favour. We thought having 2 weeks on the road together, we bonded stronger than most of the other teams that hadn't even travelled yet. So we turned it into a positive, and we said, look, we can do anything at any place. So yeah, one of our mottos was anywhere, anytime. So whether it was raining, whether it was snowing, whether it was 36 degrees, we could do it.
We genuinely knew that if we didn't win this game, it was going to be tough to stay in the competition. I think we needed to keep our spirits up, and we needed to beat this team because Freo had sort of been touted as going to win, and so had Melbourne. And we thought, well, if we can jag these two, we'll set ourselves up really well.
Can Brisbane make it 2 from 2 to start this AFLW season? Can the Dockers, with the advantage of a breeze, come home strong and get the crowd behind them to get their first win on the board from Brisbane's goal? Now back to Frederick Traub, who puts a high up and under. Carries in the breeze, it's gone through for a goal.
Having my family there was pretty, pretty surreal for me. For so long, I dreamt about playing the sport that I love in front of my family and friends, because that means the most to me. So having them there, I just remember running down, I think it was half-time, into the change room, just looking out just before I went into the door and seeing them all there, and I just burst into tears because it was probably in that moment the best feeling, win or lose in that game, the best feeling that I've had.
Taylor would have had her best game of the year. She took incredible marks, kicked some really crucial goals for us. There was one that I remember she marked out on the right side.
Harris, she's got it. It's not Frederick Traub, it's Taylor Harris. Well, these are the two players that Fremantle have got to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime Taylor Harris gets a run and jump at the footy, she is hard to beat.
And the wind was just terrible, so I'm like, this is going to be a really hard kick.
Top marquee signing for Brisbane. This will be a big goal to put them back in front. And it's going to hold its line and swing back beautifully in the breeze.
She nailed that kick, and I thought, yeah, we're on here, and if anyone could have kicked that, it would have been her. Throughout the game, she was taking some really crucial marks for us. She was working really hard.
Big pack mark taken by Harris. What a mark by Taylor Harris. That could be the moment that defines this match right here. To put the icing on the cake for the Brisbane Lions, and she does. What a turn up, 2 weeks on the road to go and conquer Melbourne and the Fremantle Dockers. This is superb.
I think we came over with a purpose, and we really showed the competition that we're not just going to lie down and take. No one backed us, but like we knew that we were going to come here and give it to them. So yeah, we did it.
2 wins in a row on the road. You're making it look easy.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to staying home next week without the travel. So yeah, we'll just focus on next week and see how we go.
After those 2 travel games, I just got the sense that the players were a bit cooked. We'd played on a Sunday in Perth, and we were playing Saturday afternoon at Brendale. The excitement around our first home game was big. However, 6-day break, coming back from Western Australia, I thought our team were really, and it told on the training track actually, that they were really under a decent amount of fatigue, and I knew that Collingwood had lost their first 2 games. They would have been coming out really trying to get a win on the board, and they took it up to us all day long. So a really, really tough day.
We knew they were going to come out fighting. There are a couple of their players that were known to be stand-up stars, so I guess our focus was mainly shutting those players down. We also knew we had the advantage of playing in Brisbane, and that Brisbane heat, like I said, is very, very exhausting. So I think we knew we had that advantage, and we just knew we had to run on top of them quite early and just keep them there.
So I remember us throwing a bit of chat in between us, saying, look at them over there, they've come out for a 5-minute warm-up, and we're out here for 20 minutes, because obviously it was really hot, but it made us laugh a little bit that they couldn't handle the heat straight away, and they had to do about a 5-minute warm-up and then stand in the fans.
The all-important AFL ladder. We didn't think it'd maybe look like this. Adelaide, Carlton and the Brisbane Lions all undefeated.
Still no one really rated us in the media and outside of Brisbane. And being up here, we're out of the way of it all. Like, not really many people take that much of an interest in AFL football compared to Melbourne, compared to Perth.
Even though we had won 2 from 2 and they'd won none, they were still the hot favourites. So again, that adds fuel to the fire. Always the underdog, even at our home ground at 36 degrees.
Who is going to be the first person to back into a pack and take an intercept mark, dive in at ground level and get the contested ball, get the chase down tackle at the start of the game, Kathy, to get us going? Who is it going to be today to inspire your teammates? Another chance today to shock the opposition, inspire your teammates, inspire each other, compete like your life depends on it, and make this a shocking place to come and play footy.
The Lions have started extremely well here.
Let's go, work together, let's go.
Fantastic use, the turnover was fantastic. Brianna Cohen, beautiful use of the football, found Taylor Harris on a strong lead. And Sabrina Frederick Traub, one of the marquee signings. And she goes in here and kicks her first and the Lions first in their very first home game here at the South Pine Sports Complex. Bernardi dropped the mark and opened the door for Jamie Stanton. That's her soccer skills, the ex-junior Matilda coming into play. Sabrina Frederick Traub gets it back to her. The kick needs to be great, and it was to Wushner. Sam Burgo. Another one to cop a big hit to the ribs and around the head earlier. Oh, Traub comes out strong mark.
She's nearly within range. She obviously comes from a rich vein of family at the league medal up in...
Here they go. Here's Kate McCarthy with a paddock in front of her. She runs at 12.06 over the 100 at the Junior Pan Packs game. She has 3 bounces. She has 4 bounces. This will bring the house down. She takes it all the way to the goal line and says to the crowd, what about that?
That is fantastic. Great run. The crowd roars as she comes to the bench. Well deserved.
Well, that may just be the goal of the season so far. It'll be very hard to beat. And the Lions looking hard to beat here. They lead it by 11 points.
So I remember we came in 2 goals up at, or less than 2 goals up at half time, and I got this sense that the group thought, gee, that's enough. We're a little bit in front, noses in front, too tired to do much more about it. I hope we can hang on. And that's definitely not the way to go into a second half against a hungry oppositions.
Do not back off. Do not back off the pressure around the contest. Keep hammer, hammer, hammer. So we've got to hang in there now for 15 minutes. Right, really push this hard. Arm wrestle is on, big time. We're just about to break the damn wall here. Just about to smack them. Right, got to hang in there. Okay, let's go. Together.
She played on. I don't actually know that she'd been paid the mark. And Cameron, though, around the corner makes up for that. This is a massive kick, and she kicks it too. It's game on here at South Pine Sporting Complex. It's a 4-point ball game with 1 quarter to play. I'll be happy with that result.
Here we go. Yeah, she won't go to a break just yet. Girls are a bit feisty.
Short, Zilke the option.
Yeah, great play.
She gives it every single thing that she's got. That's a captain's goal from Emma Zilke. Here's Caitlin Ashmore. She's a fantastic athlete. She looks to her left to see what number she has in support. Takes a couple of bounces, just puts it on the boot. And why wouldn't you get it in the path to Kate McCarthy? She runs in and kicks her second. This is a massive kick to make it a 3-point game. Darcy's been fantastic, and she makes no mistake. This is a fantastic game of footy we've got on our hands now. Big finish. It's a 3-point lead of the Brisbane Lions, but the Pies are pressing hard, Lynchy.
They certainly are.
Fantastic. What a mark, Sarah Darcy with the pace.
They've got to go. They've got to go.
Must move the ball now. The quick fix game. Mo Hope one-on-one. Catholic there's the siren. What a finish. The Lions have won it. The Lions have won it by 4 points to win their first ever home game, and Collingwood, in despair, almost claimed their first. But what a win, Alistair Lynch, to the Brisbane Lions.
To be able to do that, to turn a performance around like that, really spoke what we were as a team, and how hard we were going to fight to stay in this and to keep going with the form that we'd played the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I think that was one of our probably toughest wins against Collingwood, and to do it in front of a really big home crowd was even better.
Look, we have a lot of respect for the opposition, but we try really hard. We've worked hard all pre-season, and it showed out on the field. I'm so proud of my team to pull through get the 3 points out of 3. It's been awesome.
I think we won over Brisbane as a whole, and they were ready to back us. So having the crowd there was really awesome.
Girls, turn around and clap the crowd!
Even though you're playing against thousands of people, knowing that majority of them are there to back you gives you that lift and that energy, and I guess it inspires you to do more and work harder. So it was pretty special, history making for the club again and for the fans, and it was awesome.
Thank you for coming, guys. If this doesn't come off, tell your mum it wasn't me.
It felt like we'd brought it all home. Our journey was finally at home. We could show everyone what we could do. So it just had like a new sense of pride in what we were doing.
Personally, I had all my family and friends there, so it meant a lot to me that they'd travelled from Bundy just to come and watch it. They had all the merch on, and it was just, I've never seen my family get so involved in my sport. So yeah, it was pretty, it was pretty cool.
There it is, the Lions are still undefeated. Can you believe that? Kicks it off the deck. Oh, don't tell me!
High ball, Harris goes. Oh, wow. And delivers.
Quick shot of goal. He's bouncing through.
Bang! What a finish by the Blues.
I don't know what really happened.